Hello, amazing folks. I'm so thrilled to see you all again for today's exciting journey. Have you ever wondered why some people can say one thing and instantly have the whole room hanging on their every word, while others, no matter how hard they try, just get ignored? Here's the secret. It's not about shouting the loudest or being the smartest. It's about how you wield your words to own your presence. In this video, I'm spilling the beans on ways to speak so people can't help but respect you. Some will make you nod in agreement. Others might catch you off guard and make you think twice. From kicking that pointless "I'm sorry" habit, setting rock-solid boundaries, to mastering the quiet power of a pause, it's all here, ready to transform how the world sees you. Are you pumped to level up your voice and make everyone sit up and listen? Stick with me. Let's dive in, because you won't want to miss a single second of this. Have you ever noticed how some people command respect the moment they speak, while others struggle to be heard, no matter how loud they are? It's not about volume or expertise. It's about how you carry yourself through your words. One of the sneakiest habits that chips away at your respect is over-apologizing. Yes, those two little words, "I'm sorry," might be silently ruining your credibility. It's time to ditch the unnecessary apologies and watch how people start to see you differently. Let's get real. Saying, "I'm sorry" for every tiny thing isn't polite or endearing. It's a signal that you're unsure of yourself. Picture this. You're 2 minutes late to a meeting because traffic was a mess, and your first words are, "Sorry, I'm late." You just framed yourself as the problem, even though life simply happened. Or worse, someone bumps into you, and you blurt out, "Oh, sorry." Why are you apologizing for existing in that space? These moments aren't about courtesy. They're about handing people permission to overlook you. When you apologize without cause, you're telling the world, "Don't take me seriously. I'm already assuming I'm at fault." I used to be hooked on this habit myself. In a meeting once, someone cut me off mid-sentence, and my immediate response was, "Oh, sorry, go ahead." Why was I apologizing for being interrupted? That was my wake-up call. I started paying attention and realized I was saying sorry out of reflex, not necessity. 9 times out of 10, there was no reason for it. I was just trying to soften my presence, to shrink myself. But here's the truth. Constantly apologizing isn't humble. It's a mindset that screams you don't value yourself. And if you don't, why should anyone else? Respect doesn't come from bowing out. It comes from standing tall in your imperfections. So, how do you break this cycle? Start by pausing before you say, "I'm sorry." Ask yourself, do I actually owe an apology, or am I just uncomfortable? If it's the latter, rewrite the script. Instead of "Sorry, I'm late," try "Thank you for waiting." Swap "sorry" for bothering you with "Do you have a moment?" Instead of "Sorry, can I add something?" say "I'd like to contribute this." These small shifts don't just sound confident, they feel confident. You're no longer begging for forgiveness. You're owning your space. This isn't about being rude or cold. It's about respecting yourself first. People notice when you stop apologizing for no reason. They start to hear you differently, to see you as someone who knows their worth. I've watched it happen. Once I quit the sorry habit, conversations changed. Colleagues stopped talking over me. Friends stopped dismissing my input. It wasn't magic. It was me refusing to undermine myself. The deeper lesson? Words shape how you're perceived and how you feel about yourself. Ditching unnecessary apologies isn't just a speaking trick. It's a declaration that you belong, that your voice matters. So, next time you're tempted to say sorry for something you didn't do wrong, stop. Rewrite it. Stand in your power. Respect starts with you, and trust me, others will follow. Ever wonder why some people effortlessly earn respect while others get walked over, no matter how hard they try? It's not about being the loudest or the smartest. It's about how you assert your worth. One of the most powerful ways to do that is by setting boundaries and holding firm. If you're not defining your limits, you're not being kind, you're being spineless. Boundaries aren't optional. They're essential for respect, and here's why they matter. Let's cut to the chase. Without boundaries, you're telling people your comfort matters less than theirs. Think about it. How often have you said yes to something you dreaded just to avoid conflict? Maybe you've answered texts at 2 a.m. or stayed late fixing someone else's mess because you didn't want to seem difficult. That's not selflessness. It's a lack of self-respect. Boundaries aren't walls to keep people out. They're guidelines showing others how to treat you. No rules, no respect. It's that simple. I learned this the hard way. A friend once guilt-tripped me into helping them move, even though I had plans. They said, "I thought I could count on you," and I nearly caved. But then it hit me. This wasn't about my friendship. It was about their disregard for my time. So I stuck to my no. They found someone else, and we're still fine. That's the thing. People adjust when you stand firm. But if you don't, they'll keep pushing until you're stretched thin. Here's where it gets real. Setting boundaries can ruffle feathers. People who've gotten used to your yes won't like hearing no. I had a coworker who'd dump last-minute tasks on me, and I'd always say, "Sure, no problem," until one night, as I stayed late fixing their chaos, I realized I was prioritizing their laziness over my life. Next time, I said, "I can't help with that. You'll need to figure out." They sulked, but they managed, and I went home on time. Boundaries aren't mean. They're proof your time and energy have value. The trick is consistency. Say no clearly. No excuses, no over-explaining. If you waver, you teach people your limits are negotiable. Start small. Decline a casual invite you're not thrilled about. The world won't end, and you'll build the muscle to say no when it counts. It's uncomfortable at first. Trust me, I've felt the awkwardness, but the alternative is worse. Living without boundaries leads to burnout and resentment, fast. Here's the deeper truth. Boundaries don't just earn respect from others, they protect your peace. They filter out those unwilling to honor you. And that's not selfish, it's survival. I used to think bending over backward made me valuable, but it just left me drained. Now, I see that valuing my limits makes me stronger, not weaker. People notice, too. They start treating you like someone who knows their worth. Respect isn't given, it's claimed. Setting boundaries declares, "I matter." It's not about being rigid, it's about being real. So, define what you need, say it plainly, and hold the line. The only ones who will mind are those who thrived on your lack of limits. And honestly, you're better off without them. Boundaries aren't just words, they're your backbone. Stand tall. Have you ever noticed how some people captivate a room with a single sentence, while others ramble and lose the crowd? It's not about what they say, it's how they say it. One of the most underrated tools to earn respect is mastering the art of pausing. Silence isn't empty, it's where your power lives. When you pause, you command attention, and here's why it's a game changer. Let's face it, we live in a world obsessed with speed. Fast talkers get labeled as confident, but speed doesn't equal impact. Speak too quickly, and your words blur into noise, heard but not felt. A well-timed pause, though, it's like hitting the brakes on a runaway train. It forces people to lean in, to process, to care. It's not about saying less. It's about making every word hit harder. Think of a song. Constant beats overwhelm, but a break creates rhythm. Pausing does the same for speech. I used to hate silence. In meetings, dates, even casual chats, I'd fill every gap with words, terrified that a pause meant I looked unsure. I'd pitch ideas at work, piling on details to sound smart, but people tuned out. Once, my manager said, "You've got great ideas, but you don't let them breathe." That stung. I was exhausting myself and my listeners, doing all the work instead of trusting my point to stand. So I tried pausing. It felt odd, like standing naked in a spotlight, but then something shifted. People stopped zoning out. They started listening. The turning point came during a presentation. I slowed down, paused after key ideas, and let the silence settle. Afterward, someone said, "That felt so impactful. Every word stuck." That's when it clicked. Pausing isn't weak, it's deliberate. It says, "I trust my words to carry weight." I wasn't just speaking, I was present. And presence demands respect. Now, I see it everywhere. The most powerful speakers don't rush. They pause, letting their message sink in. Here's the catch. Silence feels risky. Your brain screams, "Fill it." They'll think you're lost. But that's the trick. Pausing isn't hesitation, it's confidence. It shows you're secure enough to let things breathe, to let others catch up. Critics might argue it makes you seem uncertain, but flip that. A pause signals intent. If someone misreads it, that's on them. In a world that's always racing, slowing down stands out. It's rare, and rarity breeds respect. This goes beyond speech, it's about life. Pausing teaches patience, forces you to value your words and others. I started practicing it everywhere, conversations, arguments, even small talk. The result? People lean in. They hear me, not just my voice. It's like the room shifts when you stop rushing. You don't just hold attention, you own it. So, next time you speak, resist the urge to fill every second. Say what matters, then pause. Let land. It's uncomfortable at first. Trust me, I've fought the itch to keep going, but the payoff is worth it. When you master pausing, you're not just heard, you're felt. Your words don't beg for respect, they demand it. Silence isn't a gap, it's your strength. Lean into it and watch the room turn to you. Ever notice how some people light up a room with a single line, while others try too hard and flop? Respect isn't about being the loudest, it's about how you wield your words. Humor can be your secret weapon, but only if you use it right. Like hot sauce, a little elevates everything. Too much, and it's a mess. Used wisely, humor earns respect. Overdone, it turns you into a clown. Here's how to strike the balance. Humor's a gift. It breaks tension, builds bonds, and even makes you seem sharper. Studies show a well-timed quip can boost your smarts in others' eyes. But here's the catch. It's a tightrope. Lean too hard into jokes, especially self-deprecating ones, and you risk losing credibility. I've been there. I used to toss out one-liners nonstop, thinking it made me charming. In a meeting once, I joked about my workload. I'm just here to make spreadsheets pretty. Everyone laughed, but my manager later said, "You're too good to downplay yourself." Ouch. I was getting attention, but not respect. The problem? I didn't know when to stop. Humor became my shield, deflecting feedback, dodging tough talks. If someone critiqued me, I'd crack a joke. Serious moment? I'd lighten it up. People laughed, sure, but they stopped taking me seriously. I'd turn myself into the punchline. That's the danger. Overdo it, and you're not funny. You're forgettable. Respect doesn't come from constant giggles. It comes from knowing when to be light and when to be solid. So, how do you use humor right? It's about intent and timing. A good laugh should connect, not distract. Self-deprecation works if it's rare, showing humility, not weakness. But if you're always the butt of your jokes, people start believing you're less. I learned to save humor for moments that need it, like easing a tense room, not as a crutch for insecurity. Once, I nailed a quip during a heated debate, and it shifted the mood without derailing the point. That's the sweet spot. Humor that adds, not subtracts. Balance is key. A sharp, well-placed joke shows confidence and wit. A barrage of gags screams desperation. And let's talk risks. Sarcasm can make you clever or cruel, depending on delivery. Dark humor? Same deal. You gotta read the room. Nothing tanks respect faster than a tone-deaf jest. I've bombed before, cringed my way through misfire, and learned humor reflects you. Are you lifting spirits or hiding flaws? Why, I dialed it back. Things changed. I toss a quip, then let it sit. No follow-up, no overreach. People started seeing me as sharp, not just silly. Humor became a tool, not my identity. Respect grew because I showed I could be serious too. It's not about ditching fun, it's about purpose. Ask yourself, am I connecting or deflecting? If it's the latter, pull back. Humor done right makes you unforgettable, not a fool. Next time you're tempted to joke, check your aim. Make it land, not linger. Respect isn't about laughs. It's about how you leave people feeling. Nail that, and you're not just funny, you're a force. Dad joke's optional, but proceed with caution. Ever wonder why some people command respect effortlessly, while others fade into the background? It's not about volume or smarts. It's about what you say and what you don't. One surefire way to lose respect fast is gossiping. That juicy tidbit about a coworker or friend might feel good in the moment, but it's a trap. Gossip doesn't make you intriguing. It makes you untrustworthy. Drop it and watch how people start seeing you differently. Let's be honest, gossip's tempting. It's like social candy, sweet, quick, and addictive. Sharing that "did you hear" story makes you feel in the loop, part of the club. But here's the brutal truth. Every time you spill the tea, you're not just exposing someone else, you're exposing yourself. People don't respect the source of rumors. They just enjoy the entertainment until they realize they could be next. I learned this the hard way. Once, I made a casual jab about a colleague's tardiness. His alarm clock must hate him. It spread like wildfire, twisted into harsher tales. When he found out I started it, I felt small. He was late for a good reason, caring for his sick mom. My harmless gossip wasn't harmless. It was cruel. That hit me hard. Gossip isn't about the target. It's about you. Why share it? To feel superior? To fill silence? Dig deeper, and it's often insecurity talking. Look at them, not me. But while you're pointing fingers, others are judging you. They're not thinking, wow, what a story. They're wondering, can I trust this person? Flip the script. When you refuse to gossip, you stand out. People notice you're not feeding the drama mill. They see someone solid, not swayed by petty chatter. I used to dive into those oh my gosh conversations until I quit. At first, I'd sidestep with I hope they're okay, feeling out of the loop. But over time, something shifted. Colleagues stopped bringing me rumors and started seeking my advice. I'd gone from gossip buddy to someone they trusted. That's the power. Skipping the trash talk builds credibility. It's not just about avoiding hurt. It's about protecting your own integrity. Every rumor you spread chips away at your character, your relationships, even your self-worth. Here's the kicker. Gossipers don't climb. They're not trusted with secrets or big roles. They're the ones left out when it matters. I saw it play out. People who always had the scoop stayed stagnant, while those who held their tongue rose. Respect isn't a quick laugh, it's a lasting impression. Ditching gossip says, I don't need to tear anyone down to stand tall. It's a quiet strength that echoes louder than any rumor. So, next time you're tempted to dish dirt, pause. Ask, what's this say about me? If it's not lifting you or others, let it go. Karen from accounting, let her live. Be the one who doesn't pour the tea. Be the one who brews trust. Respect doesn't come from knowing the latest. It comes from being the steady voice in the noise. Drop the gossip. You'll feel lighter, and people will look up, not down. Ever noticed how some people hold a room with a few words, while others lose it by droning on? Respect isn't about saying the most. It's about saying what matters. One of the trickiest skills to master is knowing when to stop talking. Most of us overspeak, and it's costing us. The truth? Sometimes the strongest statement is silence. Here's why less can be so much more. We've all felt it. That urge to keep going, to explain, to fill every gap. Why? Insecurity. We think if we stop, people will doubt us, assume we're unsure or out of depth. So, we ramble, piling on details, hoping to prove our worth. But here's the twist. The more you talk, the less they hear. I found this out the hard way. Pitching to a client once, I nailed my idea in the first minute. Instead of stopping, I rehashed it, added fluff, and preempted questions they hadn't asked. By the end, they looked lost. My boss later said, you had them at the start, then you lost them. I drowned my own point. That stung. Over-talking doesn't impress, it muddies. When you keep going, you're not amplifying your message, you're smothering it. Silence, though, it's magnetic. It gives your words room to land, lets people think, and invites them to engage. I used to dread those quiet beats, my brain yelling, say more. But they're not the enemy. They're your ally. Once at a family gathering, I'd always fill lulls with chatter. Jokes, tangents, anything. One day I stopped, said my piece, then let it sit. Suddenly, people asked for my take instead of glazing over. Less noise made me louder. Here's the deeper cut. Knowing when to stop isn't just about speech, it's about trust. Trusting your words have weight without endless backup. It's confidence, not desperation. Think of the best speeches, short, sharp, deliberate. They stick because they don't overstay. I started testing this at work. I'll make my point, then pause. No filler. People didn't just hear me. They remembered me. It's like leaving a party at its peak. You're missed, not overstayed. Silence feels awkward at first. You say something, no one jumps in, and panic sets in. But resist. That pause isn't failure, it's power. It forces focus. The more I practiced, the more I saw. The less I said, the more respect I gained. People don't recall rambles. They recall precision. It's not about leaving them hanging. It's about giving them space to pick up the thread. I watched it shift conversations, colleagues leaning in, not tuning out. So, next time you speak, try this. Say what you mean, then stop. Sit with the quiet. It takes guts. Believe me, I've battled the itch to ramble, but it pays off. Your words don't need a safety net. They need room to breathe. When you master stopping, you're not just heard, you're felt. Respect grows in that space, not in the noise. It's not about volume, it's about impact. Trust your point, drop the mic, and let silence do the rest. You'll see, they'll listen harder. Have you ever noticed how some people command respect without trying, while others scramble and still get ignored? It's not about being the loudest or the smartest. It's about how you carry your words. The real root of respect lies in confidence. When you trust yourself, others do too. It's not a trick, it's a foundation. Here's why believing in yourself changes everything. Confidence isn't arrogance, it's quiet certainty. Too often, we dilute our worth with doubt, over-explaining or shrinking to fit in. I used to do it constantly. In meetings, I'd pitch an idea, then bury it under qualifiers. Maybe this isn't great, but hoping to dodge rejection. People didn't dismiss the idea, they dismissed me. Why? I'd already told them I wasn't sure. It hit me. Respect starts with how I see myself. If I don't stand behind my words, no one else will. This isn't about faking it. It's about owning your space. I once watched a colleague present a wild proposal. Bare bones, no fluff. She said it, paused, and let sit. No apologies, no backpedaling. The room buzzed. Her confidence made us listen. Mine? I'd ramble, filling silence with noise, afraid of scrutiny. The difference was stark. She trusted her voice. I didn't. That's when I decided to shift. I stopped cushioning my thoughts and started saying them straight. It felt raw, but people noticed. They leaned in, not away. Here's the truth. Confidence shapes perception. When you speak like you belong, clear, direct, unapologetic, others feel it. It's not about perfection. It's about presence. I'd stumble in conversations, then overcorrect with tangents, thinking volume proved value. Wrong. Once, I shared a simple opinion at a dinner, no frills. A friend later said, "You sounded so sure. I had to think about it." That's the power. Certainty sticks. You don't need to oversell. You need to believe. Building this takes practice. Start small. Say what you mean without softening it. I began with low-stakes chats, dropping the "I guess" or "maybe." At first, I'd cringe, waiting for pushback. It rarely came. Instead, people engaged more. Confidence isn't loud, it's steady. It's trusting your words don't need a crutch. I recall a work debate. I stated my view, no hedging. A colleague challenged me, and I held firm calm. He nodded. Respect wasn't in the win, it was in the stance. The deeper lesson? Your voice reflects your self-worth. If you waver, others will too. I used to think confidence meant knowing everything. Impossible. Now I see it's about owning what I bring, flaws and all. People don't respect infallibility. They respect authenticity. When I stopped second-guessing, I stopped being background noise. Conversations shifted, less dismissal, more dialogue. So, next time you speak, trust yourself. Skip the disclaimers. Say it, mean it, stand by it. It's uncomfortable. Believe me, I've felt the itch to retreat, but it's worth it. Confidence isn't handed out, it's claimed. When you believe in your words, others will too. Respect doesn't come from pleasing everyone. It comes from honoring yourself. Step into that and watch how the room changes. You're not just heard, you're valued. That's where it starts, with you. Ever wonder why some people draw respect like a magnet, while others fade despite their efforts? It's not about tricks or volume. It's about how you show up. The real key is being authentically you. Respect isn't a performance. It's a reflection of your truth. When you own who you are unapologetically, people feel it. Here's why authenticity is the root of real respect. Being you isn't about following a script, it's about shedding one. Too often, we twist ourselves to fit expectations, softening edges or amplifying traits to please. I did it for years. In groups, I'd mimic the loudest voice or stay quiet to avoid waves, thinking it made me likable. It didn't. People sensed the mask. Respect slipped through the cracks. Then I watched someone else, a friend who spoke plainly, quirks and all. No polish, just truth. Everyone listened. I realized authenticity isn't loud, it's magnetic. This isn't about stubbornness, it's about integrity. I used to overthink every word, aiming to impress. At a work event, I'd chatter to fill space, copying other styles. It flopped, people tuned out. One day I stopped, shared a raw thought, my way, no frills. A colleague later said, "That felt real, I got it." Authenticity cuts through noise. It's not about being perfect, it's about being present. When you drop the act, your words carry weight. Here's the catch, being you can feel risky. I'd hesitate, fearing judgment, too blunt, too quiet to me. But hiding dilutes you. Once in a debate, I spoke my unfiltered take, nervous but honest. No one argued. They engaged. That's the shift. People don't respect facades. They respect courage. I started small, voicing opinions I'd buried, skipping the fit and filter. Pushback was rare. Connection grew. Authenticity isn't conflict, it's clarity. The deeper truth, your voice shapes your impact. I used to think respect came from pleasing everyone. Wrong. It comes from standing firm in your skin. At a family dinner, I'd dodge tough topics, nodding along. One night, I spoke my mind, calm but real. Silence, then questions, not rejection, curiosity. Being me didn't alienate, it invited. People don't need your echo, they need your essence. When you bring that, respect follows. It takes guts to strip the layers. I catch myself slipping, mimicking, hedging, then reset. Say what's true, not what's safe. In a meeting, I shared a quirky idea, no polish. Laughter, then nods. It stuck. Authenticity isn't about approval. It's about ownership. You're not here to blend. You're here to be. I've seen it. The more I leaned into me, the less I was overlooked. Conversations deepened. Less small talk, more substance. So, next time you speak, be you raw, real, unscripted. It's shaky at first. Trust me, I've felt the wobble, but it's freeing. Respect isn't earned by pleasing, it's won by being. Don't shrink or shout, just show up. When you own your truth, others see it too. You're not just heard, you're remembered. That's not a hack, it's a life. Step into it, flaws and all, and watch respect grow where you stand. It starts with you always. There you have it, the ultimate guide to speaking so people respect you, from ditching unnecessary apologies, setting firm boundaries, mastering the pause, using humor wisely, dropping gossip, knowing when to stop, believing in yourself, to being unapologetically you. These are just tips. They're your ticket to owning your worth and leaving a lasting mark. Don't let this stay theory. Put into action today and watch the shift happen. If you found this video valuable, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more game-changing insights, and share it with your friends to level up together. Can't wait to see you in the next one. Until then, keep shining.